Welcome to Hafod y Llan in Llyn Gwynant. Who was late getting up this morning? Is that why we're half an hour late? Or because we were late, we won't today be going up to the summit of the Snowdon. It's all. No, we won't be going to the summit, but we are in the closest place to the summit here. This is a wonderful town. We've got 3 people with us today. I'd like to introduce Arwyn Owen. He is the farm manager here at Hafod y Llan. We've also got Teleri. Where's Teleri gone? Oh, he's still out. We've got Teleri Fielden, who's in the corner here, and we've got Gethin Evans from the National Trust. He's the estate manager of the National Trust.
Hafod y Llan was bought by the National Trust in 1997 and has actually been farmed by the National Trust since 1998. It's the National Trust's largest inland in-hand holding. This is the main farm. So Hafod y Llan, where we are now, is 2,500 acres. It extends from where we are now at the valley floor at 220 feet up to the summit of Snowdon, which is 3,560 feet. So, as Biddy said, what we're going to do today is split into 3 groups. I'll take one group down the field and we'll talk about the farm and the farming. Gethin will take the other group over to the hydro. So Gethin's going to talk more about the Trust land use strategy and renewable energy. And then Teleri, who is our neighbour, friend, and who literally worked with us up until 2 years ago in Sunday. She's going to stay in the shed here and we'll talk to the 3rd group, and she's going to talk about her experience of working with the National Trust and then becoming a tenant in her own right. So,
there's 2,500 acres here, and there's another 1,200 acres on the other side of the valley, Llyn, which is essentially the same sort of farm in that true hill farm. There's 1,700 acres. You see the mountain walls, those Scots pines up there. There's a wall running behind those Scots pines, and then behind that is all open land. And then, as I say, the 1,700 acres extend from the peak over there is called the Gwynant, up to this one in front of us here, that's called Llyn. And then you see the cloud moving along those dark rocks, so in the distance. Well, that's the south ridge of Snowdon. And yes, we can almost see it, like this sort of massive rock in front of the cloud, that's called Teleri or Black Rock. And literally behind that would be the sun. To gather this mountain, we need 10 people and about 25 dogs. And the way we do it is, it's still very traditional technology. I wouldn't really call it technology, because there's no signal here, as some of you have seen, mobile telephone. So we'll phone around. I'll phone my neighbours, because we work together, and then we'll say, oh, we'll go, and depending on it, we'll say we'll be up by 8:30. So everybody who's gathering, 10 of us, we've all got our spots. 3 of us will go over there, three of us will go up there, one bulk tank, two there, and then normally, well, I say three, my neighbour from the other side as well, he just comes up, so he's the 10th, he just comes up, but he doesn't actually bring the sheep down, but he's there just to watch properly. And then, if we start gathering at Hafod y Llan, say everyone does this Hafod y Llan, and then everybody starts moving at Hafod y Llan, and then you know who's either side of you, and then it's a matter of bringing all the sheep down. Even though we've got bulk and having a tan box here, what we do is we gather them all and bring them all down to Hafod y Llan, which is the hanging valley we can see ahead of us, to there, and then bring them down to the yard, and then they come down to these pens and we sort them into the show pens. It's still, fortunately, there are still, you know, quite a few people actually I can call upon to come together. So, and we're trying to get young people as well to come and to, you know, so that they get that experience. The cattle side, we've got about 30 pedigree Welsh Black cows. There's 15,500 heifers currently, but they're not obliging. Normally they're up in that block. You see there's a wall, yes, going up to the left over there. Then there's a block there, about 100 acres, and they're in there. And normally when it's sunny, they're like coming on to that little, you know, the plateau if you like, and it looks really good. But in terms of cattle, you know, there's always been pressure on me to keep as many cattle as possible here, and probably during the summer months we could keep an awful lot more cattle. The challenge is, you know, keeping them over the winter.
We also got smaller units, so that shed there, that wooden hut, there is a 14 kilowatt there, and then on the road on the way up you would have walked past another little shed looking very similar to that, with black railings around it. That's Gorsen Hydro, that's 11, 16. Good thing wind's here keeping me right. And then the other side of the valley we've got a 44 kilowatt in a place called Gethin. We've also got another 4, so there's 8 in total. But it's worth noting, we've built 8, but we've rejected much more than that. We could have built more, but we decided not to for various reasons. Either their impact on habitat, could be that they just do not fit in the landscape. But there's quite a few we still would like to do, but the blockers for those are grid connection. This is so 640 kilowatt hour output, should produce 1,800,000 kilowatts a year is what was planned. There's slightly above that on average, 1.85 million kilowatts is what it does. When we built it, back in the days of feed-in tariffs, you would have been getting around, say, 14 pence feed-in tariff and around 4 to 5 pence export. So what made it viable was feed-in tariff, planned for a 7-year payback. It's actually done 5-year payback. Roll on to today. Oh, I've missed a big thing. Cost 1.6 million. That's how much it cost to build. If we built it today, it'd probably be 2.5 million, I would have expected. But, and you all know this, because it's impacted every single one of us over the last 18 months, electricity prices have just gone haywire. And so that 4 or 5 pence export we were getting historically, last summer we did an agreement to supply winter electricity at 49 pence. So that's blowing your feed-in tariff. That's the small player anymore. And we are selling electricity now over spring summer at 31 pence. We will be doing a new agreement come September. It won't be that much. Won't be anywhere near it. We've seen electricity prices as consumers has dropped a lot since then. But you know, still probably seen a 7-year payback on any hydro you put in now.
So in terms of, they were asking sort of about my route into farming, I suppose, and so when I was 4, I quite pompously told Mum that I was going to be a lady farmer, and at the time we were living in Wrexham, a town in North Wales, and we were living on a sort of cul-de-sac housing estate, so I don't think it was a particularly realistic job prospect at the time. Skip forward sort of to teenage years where you're told that you have to work out what you've got to do with your life and get work experience. And I'm really lucky in that my granddad, my tide, used to farm, Llyn Gwynant, so I'm more of a skipped generation, although I don't remember much from the farm. And that was how I got work experience. That was how I was able to sort of, ask for a week here on the farm, or I used to milk at weekends. And it was through being able to say, I'm Llyn Gwynant's granddaughter, can I get a bit of work experience? And I think sometimes as an industry we can appear to be a little bit closed off in that respect, and it is really hard for youngsters to get sort of work experiences or apprentices or whatever it is. But as soon as you've got a little link, you're more inclined to take them on. So I was very lucky in that respect, and I got given really good work experiences. So I did a couple of weeks at Bennett's Upper Hall in Mayvod. And I think it's really important that we don't just, so many people have really bad work experience, sort of trials. So I think, it's on us as an industry to give those youngsters a chance and to give them, not just the crap jobs, give them a little bit of everything. Again, skip forward to Llyn. So when I came back from Wales, I worked out again how hard it is to get into farming, because land was too expensive and couldn't get work, etc. And Llyn is a 600-acre hill farm over the road from here, where the National Trust and Wales' Young Farmers Clubs joined together to offer a sort of annual scholarship. And I was the 5th scholar there. So you applied, if you won it, you went to live on the farm and you sort of worked as a farm manager. But crucially, over the road, literally, you had Hafod y Llan here. So I had Arwyn here, Elgan, Trevor, Rog, the ecologist. So I just had this wealth of knowledge and experience on my doorstep. And that is, that's, I would say, completely what has made me a farmer, But I think that's something that we can do far better as an industry, is whether it's official mentoring or unofficial mentoring. It's hard-won farming experience. It takes quite a lot of mistakes to get things right, and that's why a lot of people would say if you're not born into it, you've got it, because it takes a long time to get things right. So I think like I say, whether it's official or unofficial, there's so much we can learn from whether that's the older generation or someone else doing something similar or different to you. I think we need to get better at passing that around or down or on, because it scares me a little bit, the thought of how much experience is going to get sort of lost if we don't have that succession in place. Because you can learn plenty on YouTube, but it's farming is a slightly different ball game in that respect. I'm under no illusion about how lucky we have been to get a tenancy somewhere with a house, with a few buildings, 100 acres, in the area that Ned has grown up in. And that, I was very, very happy to stay here. But I think the whole tenancy process is something that we really need to help youngsters with, or whoever it is applying for it, because it was brutal. It was sort of, you're trying to work out what's tender, you're doing a cash flow, you're doing business plans. So you've already pictured yourself there, you've already put yourself in that place. And if we hadn't got it, I would have been, a little bit broken, to be honest. So I think that's something that we need to, whether it's doing more share farming or just giving more opportunities for more tenancy opportunities, because they do seem to be far and few between that come with the family unit, I suppose. And to be fair to the trust, that they have been very good at keeping, in general around here, keeping farms as units, you know, keeping the house, keeping the land, and just making it so that you can actually, you know, have a base and build from there.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here every time around, because I learn something new all the time. It does make a bit of a change that we have dry weather, because very often I come here and it is really wet, but there we are. And obviously, from what you've seen, we've taken huge advantage of the situation. But can I really thank you and your staff, and, you know, for a really good start to this tour, and, you know, and thank the organising committee, because I was not on that. But, you know, obviously, if this is what we'll do for in the next few days, it's an absolutely excellent start. We thank that as well.